Well, I wanted to lead by example, right? So when a CO got crazy with me in 2005 in Stateville, and it was over my religious. I had a religious necklace on, and it was a religious incident. But I also punched him in the fucking face. The lieutenant punched white shirt in the face, and they beat the dog shit out of me, and they stomped me in the balls, stomped my teeth, handcuffed me, slammed my face into the ground, knocked my fucking tooth out. It's fake. Black eyes. It's called a pumpkin head deluxe. That's what it's called, a PhD.
What's up, everybody? Big Herc 916, and you tuned into another Fresh Out interview. And we have a special guest today, Sammy Horowitz from Illinois. Originally did time in their correctional system, and he has a hell of a story to tell. This man, has been through their system and has changed his life. Got out. Now he's out here in Hollywood. He's a stunt man. He's working around celebrities. He's, turned his life experience into a positive. And I'm always telling you guys that, it's better to learn from your mistakes and to make something of yourself than to continue on a path and make excuses or claim the victim. So he's going to share his story with us. And, hey, man, grab your popcorn. So, Sammy, man, tell the people a little bit about your background, like where you're from, where you grew up, what was it like in, your childhood up into your teens.
Well, we moved around a lot when I was a little kid. So when I was little, we lived outside of Cleveland, right? All my friends were out there. I got locked up pretty early on. 13 years old, I started going to juvie out there in Ohio, Cuyahoga County. In and out. Basically, I was in and out of institutions and placements, juvenile detention centers, until 17. When I was 16, my family moved to Chicago. And that was just more of the same, me just getting in and out of jail, in and out of trouble. In my late teens, ended up getting hooked up with gangs. Come from a good family, didn't need to do half of the shit I did, but I always found myself back then attracted to mayhem and attracted to, any type of how can I say this? Thrill, just it excited me back then. Mm-hmm. So that said, my childhood, literally, it wasn't much of one because I was in and out of places my whole fucking juvenile life. And then when I was 18, I got arrested for armed robbery with 4 other guys over some drugs, armed robbery, home invasion. I was the youngest guy in the case. Everybody else was older than me. I was the only guy that didn't cooperate. It's crazy. That used to be a badge of fucking honor. I used to wear that shit like a badge of honor, especially when I got down to the joint. Mm-hmm. And I could bust out my fucking whole discovery and look at my shit. You don't see my name anywhere, but you see everybody else's name mentioned in my name, right? Mm-hmm. I wore that shit like a badge of honor. Now, I still look at people that turn on their friends in any capacity, in jail or out of jail, as scumbags. But that said, I got slammed right off the bat, because I was the only person that refused to give a statement or so that's just how it is. So I ended up getting sentenced to 10 years.
Wow.
That's in Illinois, they cut it in half automatically, right? So in Illinois, as long as it's good. Back then, after a while, they added that if it's a violent crime, you'll have to do 85%. But I missed that by the skin of my teeth. So it gets chopped in half to 5 years, right? Then hypothetically, if you get to a place where you can do some schoolwork and some good time and stuff, get some good time and whatnot, you might even be able to knock it down to 4.5. Unfortunately, that didn't really happen for me, so I ended up doing quite a bit more than that. But I mean, that, to sum up the childhood, that's really it. There's not much. I was in and out of places and in and out of trouble and on and off of drugs and, you know, and drinking. That was it.
So the first time you went to prison, did you learn anything of substance or value when you were in there, or were you just kind of just in there still searching to try to find yourself, or what was your mindset?
I was an animal when I was in. I know there's guys. I don't know. I know there's guys that talk about it in like a braggadocious way, like, oh, all the shit they were doing. And honestly, probably 90% of those guys weren't even doing that type of shit when they were in prison. They just act like they were doing that shit. I really was doing that shit, but when I look back now, it's like watching a movie of a different human being, because I don't think like that anymore. But my mentality the first time, I mean, I only got out for a few months before I got sent right back, but my mentality was I didn't give a fuck about myself. I didn't care about my own life, and I didn't care about anybody else either. Because I thought that was going to be my life. I thought, what else am I going to do now? I got a fucking X on my back. I'm in prison. There's nothing I can do. All the opportunities I might have had have been squandered. I don't have a girlfriend anymore. She's gone. You know what I mean? I can't go to college. What the fuck can I do? So, you know, my mindset at that time was one of hatred and misery, which was every day of my fucking life at that time, truth be told.
So you said you got out for a little while and you ended up going right back. What did you go back for?
So I got out July 2007, paroled from Dixon in Illinois. I started hustling right away pretty much. I started selling drugs, cocaine. Essentially, I also started using drugs. That was the first time I ever developed a habit. I had never done drugs before. Well, I had never done hard shit before that, you know. Besides, when I was coming up, when I was a kid, we used to smoke PCP, but that wasn't looked down upon really around my neighborhood and around kids that I used to associate with. We'd smoke water, and that, you know, it was just crazy. But cocaine, heroin, that type of shit was never that was always looked down upon. And I never even saw it, and I ended up first hustling, first making real decent money when I got out. Being a fucking celebrity, felt like a celebrity, as funny as that is nowadays, but felt like one because everybody was giving me money and I was in the neighborhood and everything like that. And then I started hustling because I had some money from a lawsuit against IDOC because I got my fucking brains beat out by correctional officers. It was in the news. It was a lot of shit. They knocked my fucking teeth out, everything.
Damn.
SEALs, yeah, man. And so, that said, I had 25 G's that I got from the lawsuit, 15 after the lawyer got his chop. I went and got 4 in a split right away. Me and my buddy, we partnered up and we were 4.5 ounces of cocaine. Me and my partner, we started at the time selling drugs and doing that. And I was going out, nightlife and all that shit. Also started getting high on my own supply. Also started doing all that shit. Not going to fake it like I was fucking out there just balling out of control, because I was. And I ended up going right back into bullshit. But I also was right back into gangbanging and that type of lifestyle. And what ended up happening is probably the best thing that could ever happen in my life, because I was going to do an armed robbery with another guy, and it was supposed to be a currency exchange. It was supposed to be a enviar dinero a Mexico, like a place that Mexicans and people send money back to their homes in Logan Square. And this guy, I didn't like this guy from day one. I had a real bad feeling about him. But at the same time, I was doing drugs. I was out of my fucking mind. This is 5 months out. So first couple months I was balling, feeling like a boss, doing big shit. Then started partying a little bit, then started getting into the bullshit. Next thing you know, I'm getting fucked up. I'm getting paranoid. You know, I'm on the street with pistols, crazy. And this dude's talking about, hey bro, let's do this lick. We got this robbery. Let's go hit it. It's got about 60 grand. I know the girl that works in there. They got a safe in there. We can go hit this shit. And in my fucking sick brain, I was thinking to myself, you know what? I think this guy's gonna set me up. But you know what? Not with the police. I didn't think he was gonna set me up with the cops. I thought he was gonna try to whack me after we did the lick. That's what I thought. Because he thought I had one pistol. I said, you know what? I'm gonna bring my other pistol, and then we're gonna hit this lick. I'm gonna smoke him before he can get me. That's what I thought. I was right about a little bit. I had the instinct. My instinct was right, because that morning when I got on that, I took the bus. I took the bus down Addison all the way to Kimball. Got off there's a Home Depot right there. I got off. He was supposed to pick me up at the bus stop. We were gonna go hit this lick. And instead, about 3 fucking unmarks pulled up. The cops came out with the guns right on me. I had my hands in my pocket. I thought right there at that moment, I thought to myself, man, just pull those guns out and just let them blast you. Because I knew I was going back. And at the time it was a bunch of bullshit. But in my mind, I thought, I'm gone now. My life is over. So, and I had them right here in my pockets. I said to myself, you know what? Just pull them out. But I was a coward, so I didn't. They arrested me. Cop threw it in my face in the car. Yeah, your boy fucking told me. Yeah, your boy got out on you. Dude got caught with some fucking dope.
Oh, and told about the leg.
And told about it. But it was the greatest thing that could have happened to me.
Yeah.
I would have ruined my life for sure. I would have 100% in my mind that situation would have been a lot worse had that happened. And it's one of a few blessings that have happened in my life that changed the course of what happened. But yeah, I went back for 2 years, 10 months, and like 17, 18 days after that.
And so when you went in that time, did you have a different perspective on life? What made you change your outlook on life to want to get out and do something more?
No, man, I was jaded. When I first got back, I was jaded. First of all, I was getting back in the county. I was fighting all the time because I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, fuck it. I was just getting into bullshit all the time. Then when I got back, you know how you would say, well, I don't know. Actually, you did time in the Fed, so it's a little different. But I would hear guys all the time talk about, man, when I get out, I'm going to start a business. Oh, when I get out, I'm going to open up a store. When I get out, I'm going to sell clothing. I would hear this shit. This is the first time I was locked up. I would hear guys talk about all these grand fucking plans that they would have, all these businesses they were going to do. And I hear the same shit when I went back this time. I went back and I would hear them talk about all these fucking high hopes. I'd tell my fucking cellies, man, you're not doing none of that shit, bro. Like, that's a fucking joke. You think you're gonna get out? Where are you gonna get a business license? You're just gonna have money to get a business license, motherfucker? It don't work like that. I hated myself so much. I was so jaded because what happened to me. I got out there with high hopes. When I got out that first time I got out after 5.5 years, 5 years, 7 months, I wanted to, in my mind at that time, I'm like, I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna be a personal trainer. I'm gonna be a personal trainer. I'm gonna be, because I was working out. I was fucking swole. I was thinking to myself, man, I can work people. I used to read muscle and fitness books cover to cover. I went to Export Fitness in fucking Arlington Heights when I got out, which is a suburb of Chicago. And the guy looked at me. He's like, oh man, you'd be a great trainer. I said, oh thanks, man. You think so? He says, yeah. He looks at my application. He's looking at it. I see him. He's smiling. Okay, cool. And then boom, he just started frowning. I knew because I was honest. Because they told me in education to careers class, be honest on the fucking application, right? That's what they told me. So you know what? I listened to him. I said, let me be honest. Yeah. And as soon as that guy got there, he goes, oh, buddy, he says, I don't know, pal. He goes, you know, we're a corporate gym, and you know, he points to the cash register. Hey, you know, we work around cash. I said, hey, pal, I went away for sticking up some drug dealers. I was supposed to have a couple of kilos. I'm not stealing $20. You know, I said I'm trying to change my life here, but I didn't get that job. Now that's not an excuse for me for what I went back and did, but I didn't give a fuck after that. After that moment, it was a defining moment in my release, because as soon as that happened, I said, fuck this shit. I'm going right back out to the street. I'm going back out to hustling. I'm going to do what I'm good at doing, which is taking people's money or getting money a different way. But, you know, so the second time I went back, initially, it was more the same. It was just, I didn't have some epiphany then. In fact, I went right back to solitary confinement for 15 fucking months, because as soon as I got off the bus from Cook County Jail, literally the day of, I get off the bus from Cook County Jail, and they put us in line for the they built a classification center called the NRC building, the Northern Receiving and Classification Center, that didn't exist the first time I went in. But they built it because they shut down old Joliet prison, right, outside of Stateville. And so you got to go into the classification center, and they house you there for a few weeks in real fucked up conditions with real fucked up lunchable meals. And then they ship you out to whatever prison you're going to, right? And as soon as I got off the bus, a CO at that time pushed me, and he pushed me, and I hit him, and right off the bat, boom. Not only did I get my fucking ass whooped, stripped out, and beat up, but they sent me to solitary. They sent me to Pontiac, to the hole, to disciplinary segregation for a year. And then they found some pills in my cell, which I don't know how they found that shit, and they gave me another 3 months. So I ended up doing 15 months straight in the hole for some bullshit. That was initially right when I got back to prison, to answer your question.
Wow. Yeah, man. You know, the prison experience, man, people, you know, they hear these old rappers tell this bullshit, and they have no idea what actually takes place or what could potentially take place. And like you said, man, you've had a few run-ins with COs, and I've seen them. Dude, I've seen people they used to do in Long Paw, they used to call it hog tie, where they, hog tie your asshole naked and put a stick through you and carry you, asshole naked, and just leave you in the cell like that. I mean, and dude, it's like, what's your recourse? You know what I mean? Like you said, you're sitting in there, you have no outside communication, so it's a very dehumanizing situation, and to maintain your sanity after that and still have some compassion, bro, is a challenge.
You talk about that stuff that you heard about, in the prisons out here. See, I haven't even thought about some of this shit. I've repressed a lot of this shit for over a decade, man. But I think about the type of shit that I saw going. You talking about guys glorifying prison about wanting to go. This is what I experienced in prison. I experienced getting fucking pepper sprayed multiple times while I was in prison. Getting thrown in a shower after I was pepper sprayed, thinking the shit was going to wash it off, washing the pepper spray down into my whole body, so now my whole fucking body burns, feeling like somebody's got a lighter under my fucking balls. You know what I mean? That's some real shit. Put in a strip cell. This was my life, man. Put in a strip cell in 110 degree weather in the summer in fucking I-House in Stateville. That's disciplinary segregation because I was in trouble all the time. Taking all my clothes, so I'm fucking butt naked in a cell, no mattress, on the fucking floor, mule kicking the door for 2 hours straight just cause why the fuck not? Because I was miserable. Because I didn't give a fuck. COs were standing there. It could be over some petty shit because I wanted some toilet paper and they didn't want to give it to me.
Yeah.
So now I'm kicking the fucking door for 2 hours. Make me stop, motherfucker. Flooding the cells. And that was life, man. That was my life. I just didn't give a fuck. It wasn't anything to glorify. It was miserable. In population, it was straight. Whenever I was in pop, it was beautiful. I loved it. But unfortunately, I was somebody that you talk about. You used the term earlier. You said leading by example is what you said, right? You lead by example. I too like to lead by example now in my life, right? But back then, I also like to lead by example. In my mind, I like to lead by example. And what that meant to me, though, was two very different things compared to today to back then. How I led by example back then is, if you looked at me the wrong way, I was going to break your fucking shit, right? And also, a lot of guys at that time, they're quick to fight another inmate, quick as hell. You look at a guy wrong, they want to fight. But if a CO gets crazy with you, they're gonna fold the fuck up, right? Because they don't want that. They don't want that they don't want that year across the board and that possible case that comes with it. Understandable, right? But as soon as the inmate says something out of line, you're fucking tough as shit. When a CEO tells you shut the fuck up and sit down, your fucking punk ass sits down. Well, I wanted to lead by example, right? So when a CEO got crazy with me in 2005 in Stateville, and it was over my religious, I had a religious necklace on, and it was a religious incident, but I also punched him in the fucking face. The lieutenant punched White Shirt in the face, and they beat the dog shit out of me, and they stomped me in the balls, stomped my teeth, handcuffed me, slammed my face into the ground, knocked my fucking tooth out. It's fake. Black eyes. It's called a pumpkin head deluxe. That's what it's called, a PhD.
I heard, you know what? That's crazy because I think Hines mentioned that same thing, pumpkin head deluxe.
And they had this shit, man. They had this shit called pumpkin head deluxe, a PhD. They would beat you in your face until your face expanded past where you look normal.
So it's called PhD, baby. Wow. You get a PhD, you get a pumpkin head, right? Doesn't happen so often anymore, but to me, unfortunately, with my run-ins with police, but that's what I'm saying is that was what I looked at as leading by example back then. I looked at that as like, fuck it. If I'm gonna act like this with an inmate, I'm gonna act like this with a CO too. I'm gonna act like this with anybody because I'm leading by example. I'm an upstanding member. You know, I'm not gonna fucking be a bitch in my mind. That's how I thought at that time. You know, I don't know, man.
If you're fed up with paying cable companies and streaming apps too much money every month, then Vault TV is the solution you've been waiting for. Watch up to 100,000 movies on demand, up to 5,000 TV shows with over 120,000 episodes. Visit us at vaulttv.com.
So, man, you're back in prison for the second time. You're jaded. You know, you got a bad taste in your mouth about life and about a lot of different things. You know, and you're looking to get out for a second time. What's going to be different this time, and how was it different as far as in your transition back into society?
Well, when I got out the second time, I didn't have the difference is when I got out the first time, after 5 years, 7 months and some change, when I got out that first time, I really did initially want to do some real good things with my life. I wanted to be a personal trainer. You know, like I said, I wanted to, you know, maybe open up a business. You know, that's what I wanted to do. The second time I got out, I didn't give a fuck. The second time I got out, I pretty much believe that I don't have any recourse. I'm not going to be a guy that gets to do anything positive. This is my life now. I've now spent 8 years, 7 months, and 15 days in prison, along with my childhood in and out. What the fuck am I going to do? I didn't have a like, oh man, I'm going to do good things this time. It's going to be different. No, what I wanted to be a gangster. That's what I wanted to be. When I got out the second time, I wanted to be a gangster. I wanted to right back. I was clean, right? So you know if you're doing drugs, when you go into prison and then you come out, you're clean. A lot of guys they come out fucking muscled up, ready to go out there and do some shit. Because I'm naive, because I'm thinking that I'm just going to fucking, you know, get right back into the shit and be successful this time. I'm going to hustle, but I'm not going to get high. I'm going to, you know, I'm going to do some shit, but I'm not going to get in trouble. It's insanity. It's doing the same thing and expecting that you're going to have different results. So that's what I was going to do. If I get caught, fuck it. But I'm going to go out like a fucking warrior. That's in my mind. That's what I was telling myself. Like, fuck it. This time you're just going to do it. So that's what I did. So when I got out, pretty much, I got into a relationship with a girl, and it was a tumultuous relationship. You know, we knew each other from childhood, and it was, you know, just a lot of right away, drugs, you know, and just chaos. And then I was back gangbanging, right? I was back in the neighborhood. I was fucking selling drugs right away, stick-ups, right away, on parole, didn't give a fuck. Didn't really expect anything different. Okay, I can get caught, go back, whatever. I'll get smoked, whatever. I didn't care because I didn't really value shit. Got right back into drugs. Did a lot of fucked up shit. Didn't try to do anything good, honestly. Got hooked on heroin. You know what I mean? Been sober 8.5 years now, but I still got fucking track marks on my arm, man. I mean, it's got hooked on this shit that I never expected to. I used to look down on people that did. Honest to God, I used to look down on people that did dope. You fucking crackhead, that's disgusting. This shit repulsed me. And then I became exactly what I was repulsed by, right? And then overdosed 3 different times, you know, clinically fucking dead. Went to 2 times I was in a car. They had to pump me with Narcan in the ambulance. The 3rd time, they brought me to the hospital, drugged me down some stairs. I OD'd in some dude's apartment, drugged me down the stairs, got me in the car, drove me to the hospital. He told me when I resuscitated, he told me, he says, man, the doctor told me he didn't think that they were going to be able to get you, man. You know, but he did. OD'd 3 times. And then, I don't know. I honestly don't know. My best friend, my very best friend, the greatest person I've ever known in my life, Jaron Carter, had died shortly before that from heroin. He was a lot better guy than I was, man. So I thought he's gone, what the fuck? But didn't stop me from getting high and getting fucked up, and then I did. And again, like I said, I overdosed for the 3rd time, and that didn't stop me. But somehow I ended up getting sober. Me personally, that was with a 12-step program, you know. It's by attraction rather than promotion, so I'm not going to promote it. But I wound up in a fucking AA meeting at 8 o'clock in the morning. Somehow, I don't know how that shit happened. Honestly, I can't. My mind was so fucked up. I used to be fantasizing every day about driving my car into oncoming traffic or blowing my fucking brains out. But I got sober, man. My life changed from that moment. Everything, you know? So, let's see. From there, I was always a decent athlete growing up, right? I was always a decent athlete, wrestled and played sports and shit like that when I wasn't in jail. When I wasn't in juvie, I was, right? So I started fighting. And I was fighting in fucking prison all the time. I got in more fights than anybody I knew. Like, honest to God, it's not to brag, I just did. It's there. It's the truth. And when I got out, I said, well, fuck it. That's what I can do, man. That's what I can do. I'm going to be a fucking M.M.A. fighter, right? So, had good hands, went to the M.M.A. gym, the fucking found one. I was a bouncer at a bar called La Margaritas. I was always cracking motherfuckers' faces open when they were getting crazy. And my boss, who had already hired and fired me like 3 different times for this shit, I didn't hit anybody out of myself. I was always attacked first, honestly. It was a rowdy place. I would get attacked and end up fucking knocking somebody out. It was crazy shit. Anyways, he's like, dude, you should train in MMA. I said, I've always wanted to. So he brought me to a gym called Midwest Training Center, where I met some of the dopest dudes ever. And then I really actually learned how to fight, which is funny when you think that you knew how to fight, but you don't, right? So then I learned how to fight. So then I had 6 MMA fights, but I was always better with my hands as a boxer, right? And I was boxing at another, my buddy that was a bartender with me, or not bartender, a bouncer, sorry, that worked at the bar, Sergio. He was a Golden Glove champ, and he's like, dude, you should come train just boxing, fuck MMA. So then I went to the boxing gym, and I started training boxing, and I left MMA after having 6 amateur MMA fights. And then I had 26 amateur fights and as a boxer, then turned professional as a boxer. And that's what it was. I didn't expect to do anything else. I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna be a fighter, you know? And I wasn't the greatest fighter. I wouldn't say I was a great fighter by any means. I was a decent club level fighter, you know? I had 7 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, 1 no contest. On BoxRec, not bullshit. You know what I mean? Yeah. And Oh, well, one of them actually isn't on my record, but I had 13 fights as a pro, and in my mind at that time, this is what I'm gonna do, man. I'm gonna be a fighter. I'm gonna be a boxer. Hopefully, cash out. Hopefully, be able to just maybe use myself to talk shit and talk shit my way into a big fight, and then cash out for 100 G's or something. And that's what I'm gonna do. It didn't work, you know. It didn't work.
Yeah.
But I had a decent career. I had a decent fighting career, and I was sober. You know, I was staying sober. I had a little time in sobriety, clean from drugs and alcohol. Obviously left the gang banging alone. Left drugs alone. Pretty much separated myself from almost everybody from my past at that time. Right. That was the key. Separating myself from everybody, and then sticking to just one mode. All my mode was at that time was training every day, going to the gym, getting to the gym by 10 a.m., training for 2-3 hours, getting home, eating, getting my road work in, doing my 3 to 5 miles a day, every fucking day. That was my life, until it was pretty apparent that I'm not gonna be no world champion, man. You know, I sparred a bunch of them. I sparred fucking world champions. I was up in fucking Big Bear training with Triple G and Sullivan Barrera and those guys. I was doing this shit, but I knew that I wasn't gonna be I wasn't a good enough fighter to get there, right? Mm-hmm. And what happened to me was really, I call it a God shot, is what I call it. That's the term I use for it, right? So what happened to me was, my boxing promoter at the time, his name's Bobby Hitz, and he's a Chicago boxing promoter, great guy, and was a mentor to me, right? And he says, hey, Sammy, and Bobby was kind of an actor, right? Because there's a lot of shows. This is 8.5 years ago. Mm-hmm. A lot of shows were filming in Chicago. They still do, a lot of them. But at the time, you know, there would be, I think there was a show called Crisis, Mind Games. A couple Chicago Fire might have just started at that time, but there were shows out there. And Bobby was on a show called Mob Doctor, because he was friends with he's an actor, but he's an actor also, but he was friends with, I think, the lead of the show, William Forsythe. He was friends with this guy, right? He was Cockeye in Once Upon a Time in America, my favorite movie. But he tells me, he goes, hey man, I'm consulting on this TV show, and I want you to go in and for an audition, right? I put your name in for a fighter character. I didn't know what the fuck he was talking about. I didn't know what an audition was. I didn't know shit about the business at all. So I went there, you know, and they go, okay, Sammy, can you shadow box? I say, yeah, shadow box. Shadow box a little bit. So he goes, okay, great. Now act tough, you know, talk shit. Oh, fuck you, motherfucker. What's up, dog? So then we did it. So they put me on a veil, it's called, right? So they call me and say, hey, Sammy, we want you to put you on a veil. First refusal. I say, okay, cool. And then they call me up and they say, hey, man, about 2 hours later, I get another call, and I was like, I was all pumped up because I'm gonna be in the movies, I'm gonna be on TV. Say, hey, you know, we hate to tell you this, but we think that you look a little too similar to the guest star on the show, so we're not gonna have you, because I was supposed to be the Ivan Drago to the Rocky. I was supposed to be the bad guy fighter, right? It was a show called Mind Games. The lead was, or the guest star was a guy named Eddie McClintock, who I'm really good friends with to this day. But he, you know, we kind of had the same haircut, same type of thing going on. So they call me up and they say, yeah, we're going to use a different guy. They use one of my good friends, Brandon Adams, who's to this day, he just fought the other night. He just upset this Ukrainian fighter and knocked him out. He's a great fighter, Brandon. But Brandon was the guy that I was going out for. But I get a call later. They say, hey, man, we want you to meet the fight coordinator on this show because we think maybe you would be a good double. I didn't know. That shit sounded like Mandarin. I didn't know what the fuck that meant. So I go and meet this guy. His name's Marco Morales, a great guy, really, really talented stunt coordinator now. And at that time, we met, and he was like, okay, man, you just do the rehearsal with me and just kind of mark all the moves and we're gonna just work the choreography and shit. So I did it, and I was on this show for 9 days, and you know, I don't know if you've ever been on a TV show, but they got craft services, they got all this shit. I'm looking like, what the fuck?
Yeah, give me an omelet with the chicken in that.
Order your fucking food. And then you got the Dunkin' Donuts coffee and all the candy. I'm thinking, oh my God. And you know, I'm around fucking Christian Slater and Steve Zahn and these actors and shit. And I'm like, oh my God, this is crazy. And then the hair and makeup ladies, they go, oh, you never done this before? I go, no. They say, oh man, you'd be a great stuntman. I say, what do you mean? You go, oh, you're a stunt double, right? I said, yeah. He goes, oh, you could really make a career out of this. I said, yeah. He goes, oh yeah, you could be a great stuntman. You're athletic. I see you moving around. You got a good look. I said, no shit. So I thought about that, and after that 9 days was up, I got real depressed because I got some decent money, you know. Yeah. But I'm like, what the fuck? I didn't know what I was gonna do. And so then I started trying to meet different people. I would get extra work as an extra out there, and I would meet these people, and I say, hey, where are the stunt people at? They tell me, oh, the stunt guys are over there, stunt girls are over there. And I go and I talk to them. I say, hey, how you doing? My name's Sammy Horowitz. I'm a boxer. I'm looking to get into stunts. And these guys, you know, now I know there's so many, everybody fucking wants to do this shit. If you know about it, so, okay, yeah. Nice to meet you, buddy. You got a SAG card? No, I don't got a SAG card, but, you know, okay, hey, listen, if you get your SAG card, one guy told me, if you get your SAG card, I'll put you to work. I said, okay, I didn't know how to get a SAG card. I didn't know what the fuck, how I was going to do that. So I just kept at it, and what ended up happening is I got my SAG card on the pilot of Empire, and the way I got it, the way I fucking got the this is a good story. The way I got the SAG card, I was looking at my wife over there, she's smiling, but the way I got the SAG card on Empire was Lee Daniels directed the pilot, right? Prolific, incredible director. I didn't know shit. I just knew how to fight, right? And the scene. You had one guy in the ring and he's shadow boxing. Terrence Howard and the actor that played his son, they're outside the ring talking, about the fighters, about their fighter in the ring. And I was just an extra, moving around the ring with him. We're supposed to be doing some sparring, right? But no hits.
Yeah.
The first AD says, hey, no contact, there's no stunts today. It's just light work. I said, okay, cool. But all the time, I was on a mission, man. I need to get my SAG card because in order to do stunts, you got to have a SAG card. If you want to make a living doing it, if you want to work on shows, you got to be in the Screen Actors Guild. So I'm like, okay, I got to do this shit. So Lee Daniels comes up and he goes, okay, hey guys. He looks at me and he says, what's your name? I go, I'm Sammy. He goes, Sammy, how would you feel if we put a little blood in your mouth and we let him kind of look like he's going to hit you, and after he does it, you spit the blood out? I said, I feel real good about that, sir. I'd love to do that. He goes, okay, cool. So they set up the shot. They put the blood in my mouth. Now, as a stunt man, any stunt people that end up watching this will know that you're not supposed to actually take the punch. It's all about reactions. A camera's two-dimensional, right? So if you get hit, you react to the punch, so you don't have to get hit. And I knew that because I had been training at that time for about 6 months, learning from different stunt people how to do choreography, learning how to take falls and everything. I knew that. But I also knew that if you do a stunt on camera, you're in.
Yeah.
And a stuntman, an old school stuntman told me, he told me, he's like, hey, listen, if you do a stunt on camera, you'll get your SAG card. I said, okay. You'll get your Taft-Hartley to get your SAG card. I said, okay. So we're in the ring, and Lee Daniels goes, action. And he hits me, and I lean into the punch. He cracks me in the face, right? He goes, hey, man. He goes, hey, are you okay? I said, yeah, I'm good. I go, don't worry, that's good. That's real good. He goes, okay, he's a big guy. Yeah. A real fighter. The guy was a real fighter that was just there as an extra. You know what I mean? He wasn't a stunt guy either.
Yeah.
He was just a boxer that I knew. He goes, okay, man. So we did the shot about 9 times. my whole fucking face was swollen after the shot. They kept on putting more blood in my mouth. Boom, punching it, spitting the blood out right into camera, right? We get the shot. That was great. We got the shot. Lee Daniels was real happy. It was amazing. It was the greatest day ever. When they say cut, I walk over to the first AD. I say, hey, how you doing? He goes, oh man. He goes, that was great work, man. He goes, that was a great job you just did. You know, we're gonna give you a bump. You know, I wasn't getting paid union rate. I was getting paid extra
That's
rate.
a big bump.
So check it out though. He goes, we're gonna give you a bump. I said, no. I want my Taft-Hartley contract, man. You got to get a Taft-Hartley contract to get the SAG card, right? I said, no, I want my SAG card. He goes, what? I go, hey, I just did a stunt, man. I want my SAG card. You guys don't have a stunt coordinator here. I want my SAG card. Now, I don't advise anybody to do this because this is against the rules. I just have a little awkward way that I did it. I'm just saying. He says, he goes, let me go talk to somebody. So the line producer comes up. Line producer says, hey man, we're gonna give you a $500 bump, right? I said, hey buddy, I don't want a $500 bump, pal. I want my Taft-Hartley contract. I just did a stunt. It's on camera.
You knew the game.
I knew it.
Yeah.
So the guy's like, okay, go upstairs to holding. It was a gym, but there was an upstairs. So they send me upstairs. I'm in holding with the other extras. They're like, oh my God, man, I can't believe you just did this shit. I'm like, oh, it's going to be cool. It's going to be cool. Right? It's either going to be cool or I'm going to be fucked.
Yeah.
So a PA comes up about an hour later. They had me sitting there for about an hour. PA comes up. He goes, hey, Horowitz. I say, what's up? He goes, hey, give me your address. I say, what do you want my address for, man? He goes, for your SAG contract, man, for your Taft-Hartley. I go, okay, here you go. Here's my address. And that's how I got in union.
Yeah.
And the crazy thing is, I thought for sure I would never get hired on Empire again after that stunt, but I ended up working on that show another 5 episodes. So they hired me back.
Wow. So that kicked off your whole...
That kicked it all off, man.
Wow. And so what brought you out here to California?
Okay, so I retired from boxing 4 years ago. I still trained and fought while I was doing stunts. I was trying to hang on to it as much as I could. I had a couple big fights. I fought in Philadelphia. I fought in Boston. I fought in Vegas at Mandalay Bay, one fight. I was still holding on to it, man. I wanted to get a big fight, so I was doing stunts, and then I was supplementing my income with taking fights, you know? And I don't know if you know shit about boxing, but on the low levels of boxing, you don't really make much money. You might make $1,000 for a 4-round fight. It's no money. You know what I mean? But if you get a decent fight, you might make $5-6 grand. If you get a good fight, you might make 10-15 grand once you start getting some wins. But it's a huge gap in between there. You got guys that don't make any money, and then you got guys that make decent money, 6 figures and whatnot. And there's no in between there, man. You either don't make money or you do in boxing. And I was supplementing my income doing still fighting, and then I retired in 2017, and I met my wife, who was then my girlfriend, and she's an actress, and also just way more smarter and talented than me. We talked about liking to associate ourselves with people that are smarter than us, and I do like to associate myself with people that are a lot smarter than me. My wife is one of them. And she's also the most incredible woman in the world. And I met her, and she told me, man, you got some crazy stories. You should write some of this shit. I said, really? I didn't know how to do that. She says, I'm going to introduce you to somebody. So she introduced me to my now best friend, who is an incredible writer, my friend Adam Pasen, and now we're partners and we're a team. And Adam taught me how to write. And so essentially, I knew that I wasn't going to be able to make a good living in Chicago. Chicago has some of the greatest stunt men and stunt women, stunt people, period, in the country. Chicago's got incredible stunt people. And I was fortunate enough to work on a lot of shows out there. And I still do. I still get a lot of work out there. I still get to go out there and work on those shows. I got great friends. But I knew that for me, in order for me to really make a living and make the kind of money I wanted to make, I would have to come out here to California, which, as you know, is a lot of people dream about it, and a lot of people can't do it, and a lot of people are real talented and just don't get the shot, and a lot of people quit before they get there. A lot of people give up, man. Basically, it's easy to give up if you're not getting what you want right away. But my wife, who was then my girlfriend, she said to me, she goes, "You're gonna do it." She said, "You're gonna do it." Because first, the idea was we're gonna go out to California, and I'm just gonna do stunts. If I'm lucky, God willing, we're gonna do stunts. But we're gonna work on writing, right? So I came out here, and the cool thing is my family had moved out to LA 20 years ago. They left Chicago, they moved out here. So what I did is, before I moved out here, I was coming out here visiting, and I was meeting stunt people out here, and I was hustling, right? I was networking out here before I ever even moved out here, so that when we did move out here, I kind of knew a few people already, right? And then I just started, before COVID, stunt people, it's called hustle. It's the actual industry term is called hustling, right? And when you hustle as a stunt person, it means you sneak onto a set to meet the stunt coordinator in the hopes that you can then drop off your headshot and resume. Now, this shit sounds alien and foreign, like, to actors or anybody that doesn't know about this, but that's how stunt people used to get jobs. Now with COVID and the pandemic, obviously that shit is shut down, and I don't think it's ever going to return. But back then, the way to get a job is you got to figure out where they're shooting something. Sometimes it's in the valley all the way in Acton or Santa Clarita. Sometimes, it's downtown LA. You don't know where it is. You find out, you might meet somebody and they'll say, "Hey, I'm working on this show on Tuesday." "Oh yeah, can you send me the call sheet? Let me know where it's going to be." And they do it, they let you know. And then you just sneak on that set, wave to the security like you're supposed to be. "Hey, how you doing, buddy?" And then you go and give your headshot and resume. I'm giving you some industry secrets, man. I don't want to get in trouble for this, but that's how you do it.
Yeah.
So I did it. So that's what I did for a couple years. I just started working and got more and more work. And my wife, being an actor, really taught me everything I know about acting. And because I look like a fucking bad guy, I guess I was fortunate to get some roles, and that's kind of how my career unfolded. But then I really realized that I have a passion for writing. And my best friend Adam, he taught me everything I know about writing, showed me how to structure things, gave me books to read, Save the Cat, the Screenwriter's Bible, books that I learned how to structure properly, how to format things properly. And I've always been a storyteller, but now I know how to do it. And then I wrote a play, and my play got produced right before the pandemic out here in Hollywood. It got put up, and it got some really nice acclaim, and that kind of set me on that path. And so that's what I'm kind of segueing into now, is just focusing on writing and focusing on doing that type of stuff with my partner Adam.
Sammy, man, dude, it's a very warm feeling, man, hearing you tell your story, and the fact that you were able to turn your life around, man, and just come out here to Hollywood, man, and make your dreams come true. I mean, dude, Hollywood, so many people come out here, man, I see them get ate up. I mean, they don't last, they get depressed. It's like, you have such high expectations. I mean, I've been in and out of Hollywood for years, and it's not as easy what people think to make it, man. So it's like, to hear you doing what you're doing, man, it's very impressive. What would you tell a younger version of you, somebody who maybe is watching this, some young person, and maybe they're involved in some stuff, and they're kind of looking to figure out like their life direction? I mean, what advice would you give them?
Well, I would say that absolutely, unequivocally, every single thing that I used to do that I thought was the right thing to do, in my mind wasn't the right thing to do. I can tell you that if you haven't been to prison yet, right? You haven't been to the county yet. Illinois prison is a cakewalk compared to fucking Cook County Jail, where guys are still getting stabbed up with fucking swords, and it's miserable. I would say if you haven't experienced that yet, or even if you had done a little county time maybe, or some juvenile time, you're not missing shit. You're not missing anything. Going to prison was one of the most miserable experiences of my life. And all the friends all the friends that I thought I had a couple. Don't get me wrong. I had a couple that I love, right? I'll always love. But a lot of guys who you think are your friends, or people that you think are your friends, are not your friends, and they're not gonna be there for you when the shit hits the fan. They're not gonna be there for you, right? When you're in prison doing some serious time for shit that you thought you were doing for the mob or for your friends or because you wanted to lead by example, right? See if those money orders come in. The only people who are gonna be sending you fucking money orders, unless you're some type of big time motherfucker, unless you're calling it or you're somebody that has some status, right? Only people that are gonna be looking out for you are your family, man. That's the people that are gonna be looking out for you. Nobody else but your family. So what I would say is, miss me with all of that. That's not going to get you anywhere. Drop all the bullshit. Crime's not going to pay off. It just doesn't. It doesn't. I did almost a fucking decade trying to get some shit and didn't even get it. Robbery went bad. Didn't even get the shit I was supposed to get. You know what I mean? Ended up with a fucking PlayStation 2 and some bullshit. We were supposed to go there for 2 keys. It's all bullshit. Don't risk it. There's so much. Look, I know that my story is not, I know it's not average. And I also know that I don't know anybody else kind of that has done what I did, right? But I do know a lot of people, or a few people at least, that have really succeeded stepping away from the bullshit and focusing on positive things. You're one of them. I got a couple friends back home that are 2 of them, and I know a few people that I meet and I see that get out of that shit. And so if I could talk to the younger version of me, I would just say, get out while you can, man, because you're going to do something that you're not going to be able to step away from. You're going to do something that's over with, man. You're going to go to jail and you're going to think you're leading by example and end up with a fucking jailhouse case, and now you're locked up for another 30 years when you went in for 3 years for a fucking robbery or burglary or some shit. Then you end up handling some business and now you're fucked up. So I would say there's a lot of opportunity out there. You just got to find it. And it's a lot better on this side than it is on that side. And you know what? I wish I knew some of the things I know now. I wish I knew some of the fucking people that turned out being scumbags that I thought had my fucking back, ended up tricking on me and being stool pigeons. They never had my back. I wish I knew that now. I wish I could go back and change it. But I can't. So all I can do is just try to keep moving forward, keep staying sober, keep helping others, trying to lend my hand to people when I can help them, show them how to do it, give them a little bit of game. I don't know much, but I know a little bit of something, help other people out. Once in a while, get to tell my story. But I would just say, to wrap it up, man, you don't have to do this shit. You don't have to be the guy that ends up in jail, getting fucking into fights with police, getting sprayed with pepper spray and mace, getting beaten, being in the fucking strip cell, miserable as fuck, cutting himself because he's flipping out, going crazy, getting back on the street, not giving a fuck if he lives or dies, wanting to kill other people, wanting to kill himself. You don't have to do that. You could literally focus. There's a lot of legit legal hustles out here. You just got to find one. Whether that's stunts, you might be an athlete, you might have some athleticism, and you want to develop it into being a stuntman. Maybe you want to be an actor. Maybe you want to be a writer. Maybe you don't want anything to do with show business. Maybe you want to open up an auto shop. Maybe you want to be a mechanic. Maybe you want to be a fucking UPS driver. It's all better than prison, man. That's what I would say.
Yeah, you're right about that. What can we look forward to from you in the future, man? I know you're a writer. You got some stuff you're working on. I mean, what do you have in the works?
Well, you could see me getting killed pretty much anytime you turn on Chicago PD. I've been in about 18 of those episodes as different bad guys getting shot and killed. And you might just see my face randomly getting killed on different shows because that's kind of like ironically, I played a correctional officer in season 2 of Snowfall in the finale. I knew nobody was going to be able to book that role better than me. I booked a CEO on Snowfall.
How ironic, huh?
Ironic.
Wow.
It was the weirdest, strangest, most
to have on the CO uniform?
It was a terrible feeling. Not wearing the uniform. Not wearing the uniform.
Yeah.
Just being just being back in jail.
I know, yeah.
And experiencing that. And then my scene, because I was a stunt man, I was beating up the inmate. I was beating up the lead of the show in the season finale, season 2.
Yeah.
But in my mind, I was just like, this is so crazy. I've been the guy on the other side of this. I've been the guy getting beat up by correctional officers, and now I got to do this. It was hard.
Yeah,
it was hard to do. But that said, I knew nobody was going to do it better. But you want to, what I got coming up, different shows, and I'm writing right now my play Musket and the Rat, which premiered January 2020. It premiered in Hollywood at the Arena Stage. That's being developed. My partner and I have since adapted that into a full-length feature, which we are now developing, and we have a couple different TV shows and movies that we are moving forward with and trying to get out there. And like they say in Hollywood, it's nothing till it's something. So
Yeah.
Hopefully you'll see something,
Hey,
God
man.
willing.
Well, God willing, I look forward to your future projects, man. We're going to have the links to all your social media in the description.
Cool.
People can look you up, man. You can put whatever you want to put. We'll have all that stuff there. And I know such a small circle, so we're doing kind of the similar path. I know we're going to cross paths again, man.
I hope so, man.
It was definitely a pleasure having you on the show. I appreciate us, finally getting the link up. I know we've been going back and forth through emails and stuff. And, this whole dealing with the situation, trying to meet up with people has been kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But we made it happen. The universe brought us together.
Yeah.
And I hope a lot of these young people watching your episode can learn from your mistakes and your life experiences. And we can, put some positive into the world. So there you have it, you guys. Big Herc 916, Sammy Horowitz, fresh out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button.